Hey there guys, it's Salis, and I gotta ask the question, do zombies need to fuck off? I ask this question because the zombie apocalypse has now become more familiar to a lot of gamers than their own bed. And familiarity breeds contempt, at least for me. And it seems if devs want to make a quick buck, they can just throw a game together, and as long as it's got zombies in it, they can just sit there with dollar signs in their eyes, knowing that people will buy it. To illustrate this point, allow me to go through some of the many ways I have, as a gamer, handled zombies in the past. So far, I have dissolved them with water pistols, shot them, blown them up, stabbed them, bludgeoned them, sliced them into pieces, run them over with cars, run them over with horses. I've ridden zombie horses, stealthed past them. I've even been the zombies sometimes. And that's just to name a few of the millions of ways zombies are in gaming. And honestly now, if I hear the words zombie survival game, I just go to sleep and hope it passes by. The fact of the matter is, the world needs ideas. New ideas, instead of just recycling the same old bullshit. Because it's gotten to the point where multiple games are now being released at the same time, normally under early access, see my previous editorial for my thoughts on that, and they're almost interchangeable now. Sure, they have some minor differences, but at the end of the day, they're basically the same, and nowhere is this more prevalent than on Steam, where we currently have 7 Days to Die, DayZ, and Rust. They're all slightly different, but at the core, they're all basically the same game. Here is an example of how you would make a zombie apocalypse game. Step 1. The world's fucked. That way we can render half-finished buildings and get away with it. Step 2. Make all the enemies zombies to disguise the fact that our AI is a slight bit dodgy. And step 3. Force the players to build shit. And then if we let them kill anything, that's the game finished and we can claim our $1 million. But if you take the time to think of an idea, or if you've drunk as much tequila as I have, you could come up with anything. Here's an example. It's the year 5491 and cats have evolved the same level of sentience as humanity, and they plan to claim the world as their own by constructing giant yarn-based weapons. You play as a member of the human resistance armed with a plasma cannon, a flamethrower and a jetpack, and your mission is to burn all of the yarn the feline military has amassed. After fighting your way through cat soldiers, guards, human sympathizers and cats in giant mech suits, and therefore save the human race. I realise this idea is a load of old bollocks, but it's still an idea. And that's my point. We need to leave zombies behind now. They are done. We've had enough. If you absolutely need to use a classic horror trope, why not create a vampire survival game where staying in the sunlight is the only way to survive, but finding spots of sunlight is hard because you now live in an underground city and sunlight is only available through cracks to the surface or at special solar collection plants which power the city. And there you go, 2 game ideas in as many minutes, neither of which contains zombies. But enough of my rant. Let's discuss this as a group. I think the reason why zombies are used so frequently is because they're safe. Zombies can have buggy AI, they can have messed up design, and the consumer will probably just go, oh, they're zombies, they're supposed to be like that. Or maybe it's because they've seen a particular zombie game become successful and decide to scrap their original idea and just make something that they believe will now sell. But the problem with that is, if one game's successful, you will instantly be thought of as a clone or a rip-off. But why is everyone so afraid of new ideas these days? Personally, I believe it's because gaming is following Hollywood too much. You see, movies have become so reliant on ideas based on things people are familiar with, that if an original concept comes along, they think everyone will just run and hide from it. And that's why we get movie tie-in games that are god-awful and franchises that drive themselves into the dirt, but still sell millions of copies. And I don't get why this has become the norm. You see, I grew up in an era where games about blue hedgehogs sat side by side on my shelf, with suicidal creatures plummeting from hatches and dinosaurs beating up monkeys. Of course there were zombies, but they were very minimal, and there were so many other themes out there. I don't want to see gaming stagnate and become nothing but a giant mass of zombies, PvP and space marines. So if you're making a zombie game, please stop. Just take 5 minutes, drink some tequila and think of something fun. If you out there have any thoughts or opinions, please post them in the comments below. I'd love to get a good dialogue going on this. And until we speak again, I've been Salis. Zombies need to fuck right off, and I will see you next time. In case you didn't know, I'm going to be at EGX Res this year at the NEC in Birmingham. March 28th to March 30th. I hope to see you there. Remember to come and say hello. I don't bite. Unless you want me to.